You just moved to Velmoor. Population 34,000, or so the sign says. It's a real city, roads, streetlights, a gas station that never seems to close. But something is wrong with the light here. It doesn't fall right. Even at noon, the shadows point the wrong direction. Your landlord hands you the keys without looking at you. Don't walk on Ashford Street after 10, he says. You laugh. He doesn't. Your neighbor, an old woman named Dora, leaves bread on her windowsill every night, not for birds. You ask her why. She says, so they know I still remember them. You don't ask who them is, but that night you notice the bread is always gone by 3 a.m. You check the cameras. Nothing took it. It just disappeared. You start noticing patterns. Every Tuesday, the streetlight at the corner of Hale and Brennan flickers exactly 7 times. Every Friday, the bakery on 5th is closed. No sign, no reason. Every Sunday morning, there are flowers left on the steps of a building that's been condemned for 20 years. Fresh flowers. You start writing it all down. You don't know why yet, but something in your gut tells you the city is trying to communicate. You meet a man named Rook at the diner on Callaway. He's been here 30 years. He sees your notebook. He doesn't ask what's in it. He just says, you're already watching. That means they're already watching you back. You ask him what they are. He orders more coffee. Finish your food, he says. You'll need the energy. That night, you hear footsteps on your ceiling. You live on the top floor. Rook introduces you to a group, 6 people. They call themselves the Cartographers. They've been mapping Velmoor for years, not the streets, the patterns. Which houses go dark at the same time, which dogs refuse to walk certain blocks, which children draw the same faceless figure without ever meeting each other. They have a wall covered with red string and photographs. It looks insane until Rook explains each connection. Then it looks like the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. The Cartographers give you a task. Simple. Walk down Ashford Street at midnight and count the doors. You remember what your landlord said. You go anyway. There are 14 doors on Ashford Street, according to the city map. You count 17. 3 doors that don't exist in any record. You photograph them. When you get home and check your phone, those 3 photos are just black. Pure black. Not dark, not blurry. Black, like something covered the lens from the inside. You go back in the daytime. The 3 doors are still there. You touch one. The wood is warm. Not sun warm, body warm. Like something living on the other side is pressed against it. You pull your hand back. From under the door, in the thin strip of shadow beneath it, something moves. Not wind, not a rat. A deliberate, slow movement, like a finger tracing the inside of the frame. You walk away fast. You don't run. Running feels like it would matter to them. Level 8. The Cartographers are excited. Nobody's photographed those doors in 5 years. The last person who did was a woman named Celine. You ask where she is now. Rook points to a name on the wall. There's a red X through it. She stopped coming, he says carefully. You notice there are 11 names with red X's on that wall. 11 people out of a group that started with 23. You do the math. You stay anyway. Level 9. Things start happening in your apartment. Small things first. Your coffee mug moved 3 inches to the left overnight. A drawer you never open is open. Your notebook, the one with the patterns, has a new page filled in. The handwriting is almost yours. Almost. The page says, you're asking the right questions. Stop. You don't stop. Level 10. The Cartographers tell you about the hollow year. Every decade, for exactly 1 year, the activity in Velmoor intensifies. More sightings, more missing persons, more doors. The last hollow year was 2015. 3 people vanished. No bodies, no cases. The police just filed them as relocations. You ask when the next one starts. Rook checks his calendar. 6 weeks ago, he says. The room goes very quiet. Level 15. You've stopped sleeping through the night. Not because of fear, because of the sounds. Every night at 2:47 a.m., you hear a sound like a radio trying to find a frequency. Static, then almost words, then static again. You start recording it. On the 3rd night, you slow the recording down. The almost words become real words. They're saying your name, not your first name, your full name, your middle name that you never tell anyone. Level 20, you find the archive. Velmoor has a city archive that's supposedly open to the public, but the section on records before 1943 is locked. You bribe the clerk with $60 and a story about genealogy research. He lets you into the back room. You spend 4 hours in there. When you come out, you've learned one thing. Velmoor was built on the site of a settlement that was erased from official history. Not destroyed, not abandoned, erased. Every name removed, every document shredded, every grave unmarked. But the land remembers. Level 25. Rook tells you about the rules. Every city has unspoken rules. Velmoor's are specific. Never say thank you to a stranger who helps you in the dark. Never look directly at the clock tower past midnight. Never accept food from someone you don't recognize, no matter how hungry you are. And never answer your door if you hear the knock come from the wrong height. You ask what the wrong height is. He holds his hand at his knee. Level 30. One of the cartographers goes missing, a young woman named Priya. She was supposed to check a location on the east side. She checked in at 11 p.m. Nothing after that. Her phone was found 2 days later on a park bench, battery full, screen intact, but every contact in it had been deleted, except one. Yours. Level 35. You go looking for Priya. The east side location she was checking was an old hotel called the Caldwell, closed since 1989. You get inside through a broken service door. The lobby is intact, furniture still there, dust everywhere, a guest registry on the front desk. Out of morbid habit, you flip through it. Dates stop in October 1989. Then you turn one more page. There are new entries, dated last week. The names are all just numbers, except the last entry. It says, the one who counts the doors. Checkout date pending. Level 40. You find Priya. She's at the diner on Callaway, eating breakfast. Calm. She looks at you like she's never seen you before. You say her name. She says, I don't know who that is. She's using a different hand to eat. Her dominant hand is resting on the table, not moving, not at all. You look at her eyes. The pupils are the wrong shape. You sit down. You order coffee. You don't say anything else. Level 45. You go back to Rook. You tell him about Priya. He listens with his hands flat on the table. When you finish, he says one thing. Don't go back to your apartment tonight. You ask why. Because if something is wearing Priya's face and it knows your name, it knows where you sleep. You stay at a motel on the edge of town. You pay cash. You don't give your real name. At 2:47 a.m., your phone still picks up the static, still says your name. It found you anyway. Halfway, you sit with that thought in the motel bathroom with the light on. You've been in Velmoor for 4 months. You've lost sleep, lost Priya, lost the comfortable lie that this city is just unusual. But you've also learned something. Fear is information. Every time something terrifies you, you're closer to the center of what this city is hiding. You make a choice. Stop surviving the city. Start understanding it. You go back to the 3 doors on Ashford Street. Daytime, clear sky. You knock on the first one. Nothing. The second, nothing. The third door, 3 knocks back. Same rhythm, exact same rhythm. Your heart is pounding so hard you can hear it. You put your hand on the handle. It turns from the other side. You let go. You step back. The door opens 1 inch, then stops. From the dark crack, a child's voice says, "You're not ready yet." The door closes. The handle locks. The cartographers have an emergency meeting. Something has changed in the pattern. The Tuesday streetlight has started flickering on every night. The flowers at the condemned building are now appearing twice a week. Dogs in the East Ward won't leave their owners' sides. Rook spreads the new data on the table. The frequency is compressing, he says. What does that mean? Someone asked. It means whatever has a cycle in this city, the cycle is almost complete. He looks at everyone, lands on you. It means the city is waking up. You go back to the archive. This time, you break in. The locked section is more than just old files. There's a room behind the room. Inside, photographs, hundreds of them, black and white, going back decades. people standing on streets you recognize. But in every photograph, every single one, there is a figure in the background. Same height, same posture, same featureless face. In photos taken 50 years apart. In photos taken on opposite sides of the city. The same figure, watching. And in the most recent photograph, taken just 3 years ago, the figure is standing in front of your apartment building. You stop telling the others everything you find, not out of secrecy, out of protection, because you're starting to understand that knowledge in Velmoor has a cost. The more you know, the more visible you become. Rook knows the most. Rook never sleeps. Rook has a lock on his door that looks like it was designed by someone terrified of something specific. He never explained why there are scratch marks on the inside of the deadbolt. You find Celine, the woman with the red X through her name. She didn't leave the city. She's living in a one-room apartment above a laundromat. No phone, blackout curtains, a cat that stares at the door and never sleeps. She opens the door, sees you, and says, "They sent you." You say nobody sent you. She studies your face for a long time. "No," she says finally. You still have the look of someone who thinks they're in control. She lets you in. She tells you everything. It takes 3 hours. When she's done, you sit in silence for a long time. Then you say, "Is there a way to end it?" She looks at you with something that isn't hope. There's a way to make it choose someone else. Celine explains the exchange. Once per hollow year, the city will accept a witness, someone who has seen enough, documented enough, understood enough. The city takes that person's awareness in exchange for a reset. The pattern's quiet, the doors close, the figure retreats for another 10 years. You ask what happens to the witness. She pulls back her sleeve. Her forearm is covered in marks, numbers, symbols, like something written in scar tissue. "They come back," she says, "but they come back changed." Changed how? She rolls her sleeve back down. "Celine isn't my real name. I don't remember my real name." You tell Rook. He already knows. Of course he already knows. He's been a cartographer for 30 years because he's been protecting someone from being chosen. You ask who. He doesn't answer, but his eyes move just for a second to a photograph pinned to the corner of the wall. A young woman, laughing, full of life. There's no red X through her name. She left Velmoor before it could take her. He let her go, stayed behind, kept mapping, kept watching, kept the city's attention on himself. 30 years. You look at Rook differently after that. The hollow year is reaching its peak. You can feel it in the air like pressure before a storm. The 3 doors on Ashford Street are open now. All 3, all the time. People walk past them without looking, like they've been trained not to see them. The figure in the photographs has stopped standing in backgrounds. Now, it stands directly in front of the camera. In the most recent one, taken by a cartographer last night, it's standing so close, the face almost has features. Almost. You are running out of time, and you are the most aware person in Velmoor right now, which means you are exactly what the city is looking for. You make a decision. You go to Ashford Street. You stand in front of the 3rd door, the warm wood, the presence behind it. You knock 3 times. 3 knocks back. You say, "I'm the one who counts the doors. I know what you are. I've seen the photographs, the patterns, the archive. I know about the settlement. I know about the exchange." Silence. Then the door opens all the way. Inside is not a room. It's Velmoor, the whole city, somehow contained in the space behind that door, spread out like a map. Every street lit from beneath, every pattern glowing like circuitry, and in the center of it, standing still, the figure. Up close, it doesn't look like a monster. It looks like a mirror. It offers you the choice, not in words, in understanding, pure, direct flooding into your mind like cold water. Become the witness. Take the exchange. Give the city your awareness and let it sleep for another decade. Or walk away. Let it choose someone else, someone who doesn't know the rules, someone who won't survive the choosing. You think about Priya's eyes with the wrong-shaped pupils. You think about Celine's scarred forearm and her missing name. You think about Rook spending 30 years holding the tide with nothing but red string and coffee. You think about 11 names with red X's, and you think about all the people in Velmoor who go to work and eat dinner and don't know what's underneath the city they live in. You take a breath. You wake up on a bench in Velmoor City Square. Morning light. A woman walks past with coffee. A kid rides a bike. A man reads a newspaper. The city is quiet, really quiet. The street lights are still. Ashford Street has 14 doors. You counted. You reach for your notebook to write it down. The notebook is blank. All of it, every pattern, every name, every observation from 4 months of watching. Blank. You sit with that for a moment. Then you notice something. On the inside cover of the notebook, which you've never written in, there is one sentence in handwriting that's almost yours. Almost. It says, "You won't remember, but you'll start to notice again. You always do." You close the notebook. You look up at the city around you, and somewhere in the back of your mind, just barely, like a radio finding a frequency, you notice that the shadows are pointing the wrong direction. You pull out a pen. You start writing.